talk about the historic and very important visit by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the U.S., to Washington, where he met yesterday with President Donald Trump. The President also did meet with yesterday evening with about 12 CEOs and leaders or president of the mega American companies. He did visit the American Chamber of Commerce and the Egyptian American Business Council, and also he met the president of Boeing. Yes, the day before he did meet with the head of many U.S. companies as well, and the president of the World Bank. Many meetings were held during that very important visit. To shed more light about the visit, we are very much delighted to have with us in the studio Ambassador Dr. Mohamed Elhouseni, Economic Committee Director at the United Nations. Hello, sir.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Hosseini. First, let's focus on the summit talks that took place yesterday and the importance of this summit and the topics that were tackled.
Actually, in the beginning, what we need to highlight here is that visit is the official visit to an Egyptian president since 2009. And after the two revolutions happened in our country in 2011 and 2013, the country was struggling.
Yes.
And the international community was looking to Egypt before as a kiosk country. And now they are looking to us as the new Egypt, with a country going in the next 2 years to be a stable country economic-wise and also international-wise.
Indeed.
When we find that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as his official meeting with President Donald Trump in a 70 days in the White House, meaning that our country as the United States is the powerful country in the world. Egypt also is the strongest country in the Middle East, and we need to be proud of that. The meeting points, or let's talk about the diplomatic relation and the relation between the U.S. and Egypt. It's have been started in 1979 when President Sadat have signed for Camp David agreement with Israel. And since that, the United States have announced and have given order for Israel and Egypt for the U.S. aid. The U.S. aid have become downgraded up to $1.3 billion up to the previous 4 years. Let's say the previous administration, the Democratic administration to Obama administration, once they take the leadership in the United States, the situation become more freeze with Egypt. Indeed. Because the main purpose to them is supporting the Muslim Brotherhood in the Middle East and revising the administration in the Arab countries.
Indeed.
That was a plan that they did it, and it had been announced in all the media channels, and even Hillary Clinton herself have admitted that. So let's talk to let's look to the Republican administration, which is representing in Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. Donald Trump, he don't have that much experience in the diplomat and political lines, but he go in his consultants, and he trusts his consultants very well, and his consultants is giving him the right vision of the Middle East and also the Asian countries and Europe. So when you find that Mr. Donald Trump in the last meetings with the previous presidents, or what he have who he have met in the last 2 weeks, he have met Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Nayef, and also King Abdullah for Jordan today, and also President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Just you need to look to that. Forget about what is the files and the points they are
talking. And he's expected to meet with Chinese presidents in the coming 2 days.
Why he is doing that? Obama administration, they fail 100% with the international community, and they lose them allies, and Egypt is not a small ally.
Indeed.
Yeah, every time we talk here and we hear on all the channels that Egypt is struggling, the economy is having problems, the people in Egypt is under the poor line. All of that is fine, but when we talk about our country,
it's another issue.
Of course,
yes.
Because United States now, we will not say in this interview that what Egypt wants from the United States. No, ma'am. We will say what the United States want from Egypt.
Indeed.
Because the White House they given a statement and they said, U.S. is rebooting the relation with Egypt. That means what? That means your position is more important than them position to you. Because now the United States is building a strong relation with them allies in the Middle East after the failure of the previous administration. What happened in that? This administration, the previous one, what they did, they are the reason of what we are all facing now. In Iraq, they have manipulated the system and they make Saddam down. And they manipulate in Libya and they make Gaddafi down. And they manipulate in Syria and they manipulate in the whole Middle East. When you look to that, the United States, the previous administration, whom they bring, okay, those countries, it was the wealth countries, it was a full of a natural resources, and it was a strong countries. Yeah, of course. Okay, you guys have destroyed this administration, and what you bring tourism. And this is the main topic to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi with Mr. Donald Trump. Because now they are looking, or Mr. Donald Trump, the president of the powerful company in the whole planet, he is looking to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as the only president in the Middle East fighting terrorism and giving stability to his country. Because let's put it like that: the Gulf countries, they are in peace. And the other countries, they are in war. But we are the only country is stable in this fire region. So based on that, Donald Trump, if he will not open these files with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and support and coordinate with Egypt, he will not find a success in the next points based on his plan and his promises, of course. So returning back to the points about the points they have discussed in that meeting, in the first beginning, of course, Egypt and the administration of Egypt is going to seek for new investments coming from the U.S. President Fattah al-Sisi, he meet IMF director and Mr. Kim Jong, and this is an important meeting. And now our administration, when we are going to talk about what we have, before any president, when he is going to the U.S. representing the country, they will say about what they want to do to Egypt. But now our president, he is going and saying that we have did in the last 2 years these projects. And we have did this change. And we are aiming now to have a cooperation with the United States in the military lines. Why? Fighting terrorism, ma'am, it's not about that you are putting your army and your armed forces in the first line to those
It's not the way that you fight terrorism.
Of course, because those I will represent them as a cancer to the nations, because those people, they have the high-tech technology in fighting you. That's why they are hunting our soldiers, and we fight back them, and it's look like you are a surgery, a doctor. You wanted to remove the disease without hurting the rest of the parts. How you can do that?
It's very critical.
Of course, and your equipment is it's not that high-tech look like them. So what you want from the United States is you want to re-maintain this line of cooperation in the military coordination. And the second thing, for the technology, because there is this technology robot which will gonna to find for you the bombs in the grounds, and there is the airplane without a pilot. All this equipment and all these weapons, when you provide it to Egypt, Egypt will gonna to go more further 5 or 6 points when it's now. And the third thing is Egypt can cooperate with the United States in Syria and in Iraq, and they are aiming that Egypt will gonna to cooperate with our airplanes, the F-16 in Iraq and other countries as a present to the Egyptian army there. But the first thing, we have the intelligent information cooperation, because we are the only stable security system country in the Middle East. So this is looking to that from Mr. Donald Trump and his administration. That's what he looked to President Fattah al-Sisi. He don't look to President Fattah al-Sisi as he is a president of Egypt, that's historical country, and this country have come in revolutions, and he is coming to ask help or support. No, President Fattah al-Sisi is going with the file, saying, and he was so straight when he talked in the media yesterday in this 5 minutes. President Donald Trump, he said that he is an old friend, and we trust him, and we will support him, and we will support the people of Egypt, and we are opening a new strong relation with Egypt. President Fattah Sisi answered him in 3 points. The first point is, he said, we are fighting terrorism together, because Donald Trump, when he is meeting those presidents and kings to the Middle East, he is reflecting the image when he announced that law for the immigration, that he stopped the 7 countries' citizens from entering the United States.
Yes.
So based on that, all the Arab world and all the Middle East have looked to him about he is racist. Why you are stopping us? Even United States have been founded as an immigrant nation. So you cannot stop us. So he is now returning his image and explaining his image to those leaders that I'm not stopping the immigrant to come to my country, but I'm trying to fight tourism to come to my country. And those leaders is fighting tourism on the ground. So based on that, Mr. Donald Trump and President Fattah Sisi, when he mentioned to him that President Donald Trump told him that we are looking for strong allies in the Middle East, and President Sisi confirmed to him that thing. And the second point, he mentioned also the Palestinian case, and he said the century case that that I want you to work in that to solve the solution.
Yes, Dr. Hosseini, that would bring me here to ask, are we expecting here to see a real breakthrough or a real solution on the ground for this file, which have been on table for decades now?
Just look it in another way.
Yes.
All the presidents, all the leaders worldwide, they talk about the Palestinian case as it's looked like a dialogue, they say it. Nobody's taking action up to now. But your president now, he went to President Donald Trump and he said that 40% of this tourist, those people is fighting the countries in Syria, Iraq, Libya, in our borders, most of them from Palestine.
Yes.
And from Syria, and from Iraq. So if you fight the tourism now as what he is saying, and I think the request of the Palestinian, it's a simple request that bringing the 2 countries in the border of the and the second thing is of course about transferring the embassy that opened.
But that was an issue during the campaign of Mr. Trump.
And he now returned what he say. Why? Because he saw the leaders saying, no, you cannot do that. And the Palestinian people, you must respect them. You cannot just transfer your embassy to Jerusalem, and then you were already announcing that this is Israel. No, Palestinian case is our case. As an Egyptians, as an Arab, it's in our blood. Yeah, we are divided. We are not united, look like before. But now we have this president and we have this leaders is going on the ground to the most powerful man in earth and talking and opening this case. Minister Fattah Sisi, if he don't mind about the Palestinian people, as the Muslim Brotherhood is saying in the channels, he will not open it. He will just open the cooperation and the coordination that Egypt aiming to have with the United States. But he mentioned that in the only short media brief, and they talk about that in a long dialogue about how we can motivate this in the next level. So returning back to the second point, finding now Mr. Donald Trump and President Fattah Sisi coming in this, President Sisi, when he come to the White House, the White House announced that we are welcoming the President Fattah Sisi, the President of the Republic of Egypt. We are rebooting our relation. We are aiming to return back our allies in the right pose.
Okay, Mr. Hosseini, on the economic level, what's your take on the meetings by President Fattah Sisi with many top officials in the United States, business officials and heads of corporations, and how can Egypt attract more U.S. investors in the coming period?
Actually, the administration and President Sisi, what they did was the CEOs and chairmen and head of borders for the mega and holding companies in the United States, it was, let's put it as an expression of presentation.
Yes.
That's what we did there, and also Minister Sahar, the Minister of Investment, Minister Tariq Kabil, the Minister of Trade and Industry, they have mentioned to those investors for Boeing, for General Electric, and for others, and also for the AMCM, the Chamber of Commerce, and for the business, Egypt, American Business Council. Those companies, the interest to them, because the American citizens, they don't care about the wall, that how they will help. They care about what they will invest as a private sector, what the turnover will come to them. Now you are going to them with how many mega projects. You are going to them because those investors didn't come to us. Just a few come to us in Egypt, the Future Conference, and the last years. But now you go to them, and President Sisi was assuring, and Mr. Donald Trump said what? Said, I will stand by Egypt, and I will recommend to the investors in the United States to go and have a direct investment in Egypt. Why? Because now you have a project. Before, when you go to the investment, as me as an investor, when you come and you put on my table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 varieties and projects, you have it now on the ground, not just a plan or a side plan, and you want my coordination. Now my corporation and and how I will work with you, it will be more fast. So the mega companies in the business community, it's in the United States and the Europe community. So going to the American companies and showing them now the infrastructure projects you have, the administration capital you have, the Suez Canal and the development project in the two zones, and the chemical factories and the energy projects. All that, this is the interest to the American companies. But here we have a point. Before, they was afraid to enter our market and our country. Why? Because they were saying that about the currency, about the dollar, about the black market, and you already solved that. So you are going as an administration now with the solution to the investors, showing them what you have, showing them the things you already fix in your country, showing them that your country is already stable and secured. Because if you are not a secure country, they will not come to you. So you are already fighting tourism, so you have the security. You already make a new democracy change as the two revolutions. And now you have a stable government and administration and also a parliament. And the fourth thing, you are showing them the projects on the ground. And the fifth thing, the projects you wanted to do in the last 5 to 10 years. So you have a good presentation for the American companies. The American companies now is coordinating with our ministers and our administration to find when they will be signing, and that will become in the outcome of the end of the meeting. There will be outcome of a new corporation related to the
agreements,
economic.
You mean?
Of course.
So are we expecting here, Dr. Hosseini, to see more investments,
of course,
American investment taking place in Egypt after that visit? And we have to highlight here that the president is accompanied by a high-level delegation by the ministers, Minister of Investment and and foreign trade, and many ministers from the economic cabinets, in order to follow up with the agreements.
Of course, because that's a good question, because previously, as any administration, they will go and they make a visits and meetings, and you
nothing
will sign,
concrete on the ground.
And nothing will be happening on the ground. But President Sisi, he take this administration and he take a specific ministers. You for the international corporation and the investment, you for the trade and industry, and some others cabinet members. So you guys will follow with those companies and with this administration what will be on the ground in the next 6 months, and he is reviewing that daily base. So based of that, I already show, I already go, and I already support, and we already represent our country in a good shape. So you guys follow this, so the citizen in Egypt
would feel that.
Yes,
that's a very important point.
And this is the main thing, and this is the main purpose of meeting the companies. Because look to the rest of the presidents or the kings that they are going to the U.S. or any other in the international visits. They will not meet the companies and the Chamber of Commerce and these lines, but he is going to knock the doors and show them who we are. And this is the right presentation based of the marketing line, to any man have a talent in how you will bring the investors to your country in a critical time. Looking to Mr. Trump now, Mr.
He
Trump
himself is a business tycoon.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
This is the language he will understand.
Yes.
But if you go to him in the political, in the military, in all of this files, yeah, he will be following you as the president.
Yeah.
But he will not be interesting to give more cooperation as a businessman.
Yes.
And all of us know who is Trump.
Indeed,
worldwide. And his investments in the Gulf talk, in Dubai and in other countries talk. So now what we are aiming that this visit will come, this is first as a strong message. And unfortunately, the Egyptian media didn't take this visit in the right way. It's supposed to be, here we are highlighting as the only English channel in Egypt, but the other channels, they didn't go in the social media, they didn't go in Google and they make campaigns about this visit, because this is a message to the whole world, because we didn't have a president go there since 2009, and since the revolution.
In the White House.
Yeah. And the second thing, and the second important thing is, those people who is fighting Egypt, which is Egyptian, the Muslim Brotherhood, in the other countries, and I was watching the media worldwide to see what is the impact and the reflection of that. They was talking, they are not looking to the outcome. This will happen, because look to Mr. Trump when he was welcoming Merkel in the White House. And how he is welcoming Sisi. I'm not comparing here, because we must be in the middle side. But no, the guy, he know the importance of
Egypt
and Egypt in the region.
It is a strategic alliance, and it was very clear yesterday, Dr. Hosseini, in his meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and it was said directly by Mr. Trump himself that Egypt is a strategic ally for the United States, and how he is appreciating the role of President al-Sisi as well.
Why? Why he said that? Because he is in the office since 70 days, I think, right?
Yeah.
So in that 70 days and his campaign, he looked to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as a man come from a military background. He know what he's doing when it's come to the tourism. Now,
terrorism and refugees.
Of course, and refugees. And refugees, in that point, Egypt here is the only country opened the doors to the Syrian and the Palestinian and the Yemen and the Libyan.
Iraqis before.
And Iraqis before. We opened it to them. We didn't put them in the shelters, and we just opened the country, and they live with us.
And they invest.
Yes. The people is saying and talking about that Egypt closing the border with Palestine. We do that for security reasons.
Indeed.
Because we are being attacked in Sinai. And that military is dying as our brothers and our sons here in our country.
Of course.
So our president now is fighting that and bring, and that was in any conference and any meeting I talk, that they say, did you find that tomorrow will have a better day for Egypt based on the economic lines? I just say one thing. I just say the only critical file it was on the table of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi when he take the office, it was the security. Security. And he succeeded that.
That's great.
Okay. Dr. Mohamed Elhouseni, Ambassador, Economic Committee Director on the United Nations, thank you for being with us.
Pleasure, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of our first segment in the breakfast show. Now we'll go to a short break, and after that, we'll be back to continue our segments in today's episode. So stay tuned.
Apophis is one of the gods of the netherworld.